The details of the disaster following the blast from the star of Turnur on November 2nd are still emerging in its aftermath. Closest to the star was the Imperial prototype Stellar Transmuter, understood to have destabilized the star through its experimental operations. A skeleton crew of Amarr volunteers stayed aboard the transmuter, and attempts to avert catastrophe continued until the very last moments. As it became clear that all hope was lost and the terminal phase was imminent, Marshal Zirkosh addressed the transmuter crew, thanking them for their devotion and service to the Empire, before commending their souls to God. At 1700 hours, the star of Turnur entered its so-called terminal phase of instability, and the transmuter ceased to exist. The destruction of several capsuleer structures close to the star swiftly followed. Orbiting high above the barren planet of Turnur 1 is the Republic Parliament Station, which has played a crucial role in the combined efforts of Empire and Capsuleer corporations to successfully evacuate the population of Turnur 1. At the time of the terminal event, only a handful of crew remained aboard the station, maintaining docking and traffic operations to ensure that the maximum number of refugees could escape. Ahead of the blast, the station's spare shield generators and power had been diverted to reinforce the structure. Unfortunately, the hastily rigged enhancements did not deflect all radiation and supercharged particles, with many systems wrecked and secondary explosions and fires breaking out. Regardless, the shielding did save most of those who sheltered in the core of the station, which remained structurally sound despite the severe damage to peripheral superstructures. The worst effects by far were felt on the surface of Turnur 1. As the planet closest to the star, it was clear that this barren world would be hit by any extreme energy burst, making its evacuation a top priority. Industry workers and many settlers were lifted off to safety, with only those refusing help remaining on the planet. Principal among those remaining behind were the nomadic Minmatar clans faithfully following the teachings of Tanakh Gufran, the Absolver. In a final bizarre broadcast from the surface of Turnur 1, the Absolver encouraged his followers to embrace the spiritual forces about to transform the system. Turnur 1 has been scorched beyond recognition by the effects of the intense radiation burst and bombardment by a wave of supercharged plasma from the star. So far, there are no known survivors from the surface of the planet. Despite many warnings as to the risks, a large number of capsuleers placed their ships and crews at serious risk to witness what promised to be an extraordinary event. Unsurprisingly, these ships took heavy damage from the radiation burst, with shields and armor systems collapsing in seconds, leaving damaged hulls totally exposed. A number of ships were destroyed when rival capsuleers exploited these moments of extreme vulnerability to wreak destruction on one another. The chaotic struggle in space added to the death toll of this already tragic day. It is now becoming apparent that the Turnur system has been permanently affected by the extreme stellar event. The widespread destruction is almost superficial on an astronomical scale, with the local space-time environment being profoundly altered, leading to very high unstable wormhole activity. For its part, the Amarr Empire has declared its Stellar Transmuter research program a success, despite the extraordinary demise of its Turnur operations. Ominously, the Empire appears confident it has gathered all the data required to take their exploitation of the technology forward to the next stage of development. In the aftermath of the Turnur tragedy, attention is turned to the stellar transmuters in Egmar and Vard, currently under the control of Minmatar forces. The urgent question remains whether the Republic is willing to continue experimental operations or attempt to shut them down. This is Alton Haveri, reporting for The Scope.